All right, hello again, everybody. Welcome to our next lesson here. This is American Settlement in the West. This again is for our unit Western Crossroads. So, objectives and standards. You will be able to explain how settlements began in the West, and you will be able to identify why people moved to the West. Please take a moment there to look over the standards, if you would, please. And our desired result. Why did settlers move west to the Great Plains? So a growing population. Following the United States Civil War, many Americans moved to the Great Plains. Now the Great Plains, I've kind of shown you on the map here. It's highlighted in the light blue color there. Alright, so here's Pennsylvania where we live. Hopefully you recognize our state right there. So the Great Plains are really in the Midwest part of the country, which is why they're kind of called also the Midwest. So it's really in the middle part of our country. You can see some of the states there. Maybe you recognize some. Texas, Oklahoma, we have Iowa, parts of Minnesota, also North Dakota, South Dakota. So there's a bunch of different states here in the Great Plains, okay? Now, life was difficult on the Great Plains with extreme weather. This is also where a lot of tornadoes happen. A lot of times it's called Tornado Alley sometimes, I believe. A lot of twisters and tornadoes happen out there. There was also very little supplies at the time for settlers, so they were kind of moving to the middle part of the country, very kind of barren, just a lot of kind of farmland and things like that. So not a lot of things that they can use to work with. Speaking of that, people had to make their houses out of sod. Sod is packed mud, usually has some grass in it, but because there were no trees, or there are not a lot of trees on the Great Plains, people didn't have any timber or lumber to make cabins or make homes or buildings. So a lot of times, and we'll be able to show you this later on, hopefully in live classes, what a sod house kind of looks like. So that's what a lot of people used to live in. So because of this, it was once called the Great American Desert by Major Stephen Long, who you see in the top picture there. However, even though it's called this, the area is going to become America's wheat belt. And even to this day, America, or the United States, produces a lot of wheat from this area. And a lot of farmers and a lot of settlers are also going to grow wheat as well in this area. And that's how they're going to make their livings. So promoting growth in the Great Plains. Again, the development of the railroad in the late 1800s helped grow the population of the Great Plains, okay? News also spread across Europe and the United States by posters and pamphlets about cheap land in the Great Plains. Another thing that helped with settlement of the Great Plains was in 1862, the Homestead Act was passed by Congress. Now, a homestead is a small piece of land available to settle. So how this worked was settlers could receive a title for the land after living on the land for 5 years. So you could farm the land, you could work the land, you could raise your family on the land. If you lived there for 5 years, that land was finally yours. So this was very accommodating to people. Many people are going to move west to the Great Plains to try and have their own piece of land, their own farming ground, and things like that. So this was very appealing to a lot of people. All right, our closure. Why did settlers move west to the Great Plains? Think about, the publications and the posters. Think about the opportunity of farming and the Homestead Act and all those good things. That'll help you answer your questions. Hope you have a great rest of your night, and I hope to talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.